decidedly not a pinball thought that is going through my head as I hit record on episode 172 here of Coast2Coast Pinball. But I'm in a good streak of working out right now, going to the gym. Teresa and I are doing that. It's a good thing. One of the best things about working out, because it's certainly not the actual working out, because that sucks, but you can eat more. I can actually eat more now that I'm burning off additional calories. That's what I'm thinking about right here for episode 172 of Coast2Coast Pinball. Let's go. Thank you for joining us, us, I don't know, the Imperial us. This is Coast2Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast. It's a commentary. And I'm a man out of quarters. How are you tonight? I got a funny email from somebody the other day, and I've been digging through my email trying to find it. I couldn't find it, but he said something to the effect of, I really liked in some of the early episodes how you would run down whatever you were eating or drinking before you started the show. I don't even remember doing that. But apparently I used to do that, so that was going through my head as I tried to think about what our cold open there was going to be. I could have said something, really thoughtful and deep about, pre-order pinball or, all these great thoughts Josh Sharp gave me about tournament playing. But no, I told you I'm hungry and I want to eat more food. That's what we got here. So thank you for joining us, coming to you not live from San Diego, California here on Thursday night, June 11th, 2015. How y'all doing? So there's a lot going on. I was writing out notes for this show, and I was actually going back and looking at the first time I started the show a few days ago and looking at those notes, and those notes just didn't make any sense anymore. So we started fresh. I have all new notes. And we have an interview on this show with Shannon and Patrick from the Southern Fried Gamer Expo that we will get to in just a little bit. But first, we have
5 Fast Thoughts.
Fast thought number 1. All right, so Jersey Jack Pinball has been saying for a long time now they want to get out of pre-orders, right? Jack's been saying that. I saw him say it a year and a half ago somewhere, a year ago at the Seattle show. He told me in person, he's told me no more pre-orders is his hope. I don't think that that's going to be a great, well, not great idea. Of course it's a great idea. In a perfect world, we would all just say, here's my game, I'm shipping it next week, buy it. But I'm judging this based on just the timeline of The Hobbit, the delays, and a hunch that I think the best thing is going to be for Jersey Jack Pinball going forward to probably still take pre-order money. And I know the Pat Lawler game that is forthcoming after The Hobbit was supposed to be the one where there will be no pre-orders. I'm just not sure that with these delays in The Hobbit, I know a lot of them are probably not all related to the manufacturing of the game. I think there's probably some license issues there. But I guess what I'm saying is building pinball's still hard. I think we've documented that fairly thoroughly in the past 171 episodes of this show. And, running a company based on a pinball machine is difficult. And I don't think that at the level anybody is at, besides Stern right now, there's a lot of money in it. I don't get the sense, and I don't know anything, it's just my opinion, I'm just guessing, I don't get the sense that Jersey Jack Pinball made a whole lot of money on The Wizard of Oz. I'm not saying they lost money, certainly not saying that, but I'm just saying I don't feel like they're flush with tons and tons and tons of capital. So it might be best if Jack starts saying, and I love this phrase, and you'll hear me use it from time to time, and I love it. And you can steal it from me, it's okay, because I stole it from someone else. Temper expectations. I think that it would probably be a good move right now to start saying, hey, we may have to look at pre-orders. And the more honest you are with this little tiny community of us that love pinball, the better you'll be. If you just come out and say, you know what, this thing's hard. Building these games is really difficult. And he's told them that. He's been very open. I appreciate Jack's enthusiasm at the talks he does. I think that sometimes maybe he should root for Stern a little more than worry about Stern, if that makes sense. I sometimes get the sense listening to him that Stern is on his mind, or what the other guys are doing is on his mind, and proving how much better his game is in his opinion than the other product is on his mind. I get that. But really, the best thing in the world for Jersey Jack pinball is a really healthy, thriving Stern pinball that's growing the marketplace. It's expanding the reach of these giant boxes of life under glass, as it may be. Thank you, David. He should want a very big Stern pinball, because that means there's more people who will have their eyes on his company. And if it's difficult and it's harder than he wanted it to be, the best thing to do is just be one of us and tell us, look, it's this. I'm sorry, this is really tough. This game is super delayed. I wanted this thing shipping last November. It might not ship till this November. That's just me talking. That's not Jack. I'm not saying it's not shipping in November. I'm just saying, for instances. Please don't get mad at me. But I think he'd be better off just coming out and saying, we're probably going to have to do some more pre-orders. Take the weight off his shoulders. You know, the weight of, okay, I said no more pre-orders. You know, and maybe no more deadlines either. I mean, I know that in the wake of what we just saw with Sidware and J-Pop, that's a crazy thing to say, but I'm here to tell you, friendly listener, pre-order pinball is not dead. It's just not. And especially when you're Jersey Jack and you do have a proven game out, at least, it's certainly not dead. So, I was just thinking about that today. I might have been listening to the Jersey Jack talk from the Northwest Pinball Show. So, just thinking about that. That was a sort of fast thought. Second fast thought, Stern Pinball is shipping KISS games. They're landing in people's houses. I saw photos on Facebook. It looks awesome. Looks beautiful. Looks great. I am so happy every time I see, no matter what the game is, whether it's Mustang, which I was not into at all, and I've slightly warmed. I've warmed 10% to Mustang. Or whether it's WrestleMania, which I was actually kind of warmed up to until I played it, and then I was like kind of cold to, and I'm just hoping that the code changes that game at some point, much like The Walking Dead, to where I feel more warm and fuzzy about WrestleMania. But no matter what the new game is, I'm so excited when I see people with a big cardboard box that says Stern Pinball on it, and they're getting to open it and tear into it and set the thing up and play it. We get to see videos start popping out. It's so fun. It's one of the best things about this hobby. It's like us adults get to be kids on Christmas again. So I don't know. That's a fast thought. Stern Pinball games are in people's houses tonight here on June 11th, 2015. That's awesome. Third fast thought. I saw a thread. This is sort of a cross between a fast thought and a forum static piece. Medieval Madness reissues. You know, that project got delayed and definitely came out slower than Chicago Coin and Planetary Pinball had hoped. But other than that, the game was met with really good reviews. Like, the game, everyone's, you know, it almost didn't get talked about very much because everyone kind of said, yeah, it plays like a Medieval Madness. And then, you know, those that got really, really deep into it said, well, the screen, you know, the DMD or the display, as it may be, it's not a DMD, it's not really the same, but yeah, but man, I played them. They play like a Medieval Madness. Feels like Medieval Madness to me. So the fact that it did what it was set out to do, remake Medieval Madness, I think sort of took away a little bit of the shine of the launch when they finally did ship. I think it was awesome when they finally shipped. Again, anytime I see big pinball machines getting unboxed in a house makes me happy. I did see one story, though, that was kind of the first real chink in the armor here, as it is. Armor. See what I did there? You like that? Looks like Slingshot Arms are chipping the clear coat to some of these games. And it really upset a few people, and there's posts on Pinside about it. I will tell you that I've seen many of this sort of thing happen out in the wild, usually not, I'm guessing, not right off the bat. But what we're talking about is the arm that fires the slingshot rubber out is adjusted too far outwards towards the little cutout that allows it to fire, and it's actually hitting the wood where the clear coat goes to the edge and chipping that clear coat on the edge. And that's there's no real easy way to fix that perfectly. That's sort of one of those, put little clear cover up stuff on it and move on, and hey, I got a chip right there. You're not going to probably get a new play field based on something like that. These are machines, and they will not be perfect little models on a shelf. But there is this section and I'm certainly not demeaning them here, but there is this section of our, especially the more collector-y side of the hobby, the guys who are really into the minty fresh games and the perfect examples. That's the sort of thing that could drive that particular customer absolutely insane, right? I'm not that guy. I'm really not. I know that these things are meant to get bashed on and beaten up. No, I don't want to neglect it, obviously. But I could see that really driving some people nuts. So I've been following that thread as close as I can. It's gotten pretty long. Hope to be interesting to see how the service side of these Medieval Madness reissues plays out. And really, the more important story here is not that, oh, those are chipping, but it's that, they did everything right. They went and had Stern Pinball build their games, and still something can pop up and get you. And that is probably the stuff that keeps Charlie Emery up at night. Oh my gosh, the first games I've shipped out of America's Most Haunted, I hope nothing went wrong. And he'll get to relive all that soon enough with the next game. So little things, man. All right, fast thought number 4, the Rocky Mountain Pinball Showdown takes place this weekend. And at the Rocky Mountain Pinball Showdown, am I saying that right? I'm so bummed. I wanted to go to this event really badly this year, and at first, I really thought I was going to get to go. My schedule sort of looked like I was going to bookend a work trip with Denver and Rocky Mountain, and Atlanta with Southern Fried, and then this weekend it just couldn't happen. I have to be out in Maine quicker than I thought. So the big story for me, I mean, it's a great event. It gets absolute rave reviews. Everyone says how friendly it is and how there's great games. I one day will go to this. I know the tournament's really well done. Adam Lefkoff has told me how great it is, and I believe him. If Adam Lefkoff tells me something, it is fact. You can write it in stone. But the story here for us tonight on Coast to Coast Pinball is that Spooky Pinball, Charlie and KT and the gang will be announcing their second game this weekend at the Rocky Mountain Pinball Showdown and Game Room Expo, which takes place in Denver, Colorado, June 12th, 13th, 14th. That means it starts tomorrow or right now when most of you are probably listening to this. So we will know what the second Spooky Pinball release is, and for those of you who don't like people like me having inside information that we can't share, I know what the game is. So, take that. People are going to like it. Need to get Charlie on a phone call here to talk about it. Fast thought number 5. So we did the show with Josh Sharp last night. We did like 90 minutes. It was like one of the longest Coast to Coast Pinballs ever. And I really found myself all day thinking, I kind of want to buy a Walking Dead. I want to play The Walking Dead. And I've been playing with this idea for quite a while of, for the show, of course, not just for my personal enjoyment and benefit. Right, Teresa? She can't hear me. For the show, of course, I would love to, buy every new Stern game and just keep it until the code's kind of updated to the point where it seems mostly finished. Play it, be able to really speak with authority about it for you, friendly listener. Not for me. I would do that for you. And then flip the games out as we go. And of course, I'd be able to sell them quickly, right? Because I'm good at selling games. And I haven't been able to do that because I don't really have the space. And now I'm down to a situation where out of the 3 DMD games I have in my office here, I don't really want to get rid of any of them. I mean, I have my Metallica, which is new to me still, and I'm playing quite a bit. I have my America's Most Haunted. I'm not ever selling that. The game's very special to me. And I have my Twilight Zone. That was my Holy Grail game. And I played my Twilight Zone today because I was like, come on, do we still have something? Come on, Rod. Me and you. Come here, Power. Me and you. Let's do this. Let's play this. And I scored my 180 million or whatever. And it was okay. I'm like, I still love you. I don't want to trade you, but he's looking at me sideways. Twilight Zone's looking at me a little sideways, like, playing that Metallica an awful lot. And I'm looking at him a little sideways going, you could be replaced for a bunch of zombies. Just saying, I don't know. I need a bigger place. That would solve a lot of problems here. And more money. I need more money in a bigger place.
Forum static.
Somebody emailed me recently and said, who's the hot girl that does those bumper things for some of your segments? And I'm like, that's Teresa. And they replied and said, oh, she sounds totally different when you ambush her when she's going to bed. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm ambushing her when she's going to bed. That was her trying to sound, sexy announcer girl for all of you friendly listeners. Hello. She's playing a role. She's good at it, too. She's really good at it. Right, Teresa? No, I tried again. She's not listening. She doesn't care about this pinball stuff anymore. Let's be real. It's so over for her. So, Forum Static tonight. Back on topic. I'm going to talk to you about Classic Sterns produced again, ? From Stern's Facebook page. About 2 weeks ago, somebody posted on the Stern Facebook page, the new and improved Stern Facebook page. Hey, Stern Pinball, have you ever considered remaking one of your popular electromechanical or electronic tables from the 1970s with today's modern technology? And Stern Pinball, Jared, replied slyly, just with 2 words, stay tuned. ... Stay tuned, huh? So that led to wild speculation. We have 6 pages of speculation now of, oh my gosh, maybe Stern is going to go and do a remake of an old game, which I personally think would be a fantastic idea. We saw Wonelli Big Juicy Melons, which because I know everything and I'm, the smartest pinball person in the world, said would flop on its face or said I didn't get it and it wouldn't work. I was wrong. They're selling quite a few of those. From what I understand, it's been a success. I'm happy, very happy for Dennis and Greg, first of all, and I'm glad to be proven wrong on that one. It's not for me, but it doesn't have to be for me. Somebody in this thread did some really good math, and you know how much I love math. And they said, look, everybody wants a $3,000 game, but that's not going to happen. You're going to get a $5,000 game because they'd be much better off selling this smaller number of games. I actually have it right in front of me. Let's say you sell 500 games at $49.99 retail, and you make $2,500 profit on every game. These are just throwing out, rough numbers. $2,500. And this is assuming a $2,500 cost to build the game. That's a profit of $1.25 million if you sell 500 of them. If you retail the game at $3,000 and you still had that same, cost of $2,500, which, by the way, this will never happen, you'd have $500 profit times 1,500 machines. If you sell 1,500 of them, your profit, as opposed to the 1.25, is only $750,000, even though you sold 3 times as many machines. Because if you price it lower, you'll sell a bunch more, right? Isn't that what we always see posted? If you price it cheap, think about how many you'll sell. The math doesn't work for that, though. We deal with this in my industry. Taylor Guitars, where I work, we don't have a full-size guitar that sells on the street, the advertising prices you'll see out there. We don't have one that sells below $600. There isn't a full-size Taylor that sells below $600. And I have, dealerships say to me sometimes, like, do you know how many guitars you'd sell if you had one for $399? I'm like, yeah, but it wouldn't be profitable. Our company's not set up to make money on a guitar at that price point. Remember, everyone, there's a middleman in this. Stern's not selling you games. Stern's selling a distributor a game who then is selling it to you. And that distributor has to make some amount of money. Some amount of money has to be going to the distributor, or they can't, have the capital to buy the games, to have a place to have the games if they do that. To advertise, to have a website, all this stuff, to be in business, as they say. So I guess the point here is, everybody would love to buy a brand new pinball machine, a full-size pinball machine for $3,000. Everybody wants that. That would be cool. And I see a lot of people who just feel it's incredulous that games are $5,000 to $6,000 new now, that the lowest price Stern Pro games are like $5,000 or $6,000, $6,000 retail, if you will. Blows them away because they're thinking of the numbers they knew in the glory days, or they're thinking about, I can buy a used Roadshow for $1,900. Why would I pay $6,000 for this silly Kiss game? Well, it costs a lot of money to run a pinball company. You got a lot of employees. You got a lot of money and time spent on design and parts and advertising and travel and promoting your company. And you can't sell a pinball machine for $3,000 anymore. I'm sorry. It can't happen. So I love this idea of selling a classic Stern game, like a classic game, like Sea Witch, or I don't know. There's been some other ones thrown out that I didn't think were quite as compelling, like Big Game. I don't know about that one. Nine Ball could be all right. I'd Sea Witch is kind of the one to me that jumps out just because the artwork's really pretty and it's a cool layout. Good game. Iron Maiden, that's a cool game. I could see that. Stargazer's probably the one, right? Stargazer or Sea Witch, that's kind of where I'm at. So I love this idea, but I gotta tell you, folks, the reality is it's just not going to cost much less than a Metallica Pro. It's just not. Maybe they get it down a little bit because there's less money put into the development, quote unquote. But you're still going to have to code some sort of computer, whether it's the Spike system or some other thing. But I can't imagine they wouldn't use Spike. You're going to have to code it to run this game. Now, if I'm Stern and I'm looking at what they did with The Pin, if you're not familiar with The Pin, go Google Stern, The Pin, Transformers. Wasn't my favorite product. It was meant to be sort of a lower price point, entry-level pinball machine, not for coin-op. Had a terrible small backboard thing, looked funny. A lot of people said it played okay, played good, had real flippers, etc., etc. I just wasn't for me. And they sold for $3,000, I think, and then you'd see them on sale for $2,500. So if they're selling a game retail for $3,000, that probably means the dealership's paying $2,000 for it, $2,200 for it. Like a Costco is where they were sold at in a lot of places. So they tried to sell them for $3,000 to make good money on them, and then they went down to $2,500 to just make something on them, I think. And these numbers could be off, I'm sorry. But I love the idea of vintage games, but you're going to have to understand they're going to be $5,000. I just can't see how they're not $5,000. And you say, why on earth would I spend $5,000 on Stargazer when I can go buy a really nice fixed-up Stargazer for half that price, right? And I see people saying you can buy a mint, completely restored Stargazer for $2,000. Somebody please forward me that link, because I don't believe that actually exists. But I do think you can buy a really nice one for $2,000, really nice one, and I think you can get a really fantastic restored one for $2,500 to $3,000. But a lot of people want to buy new games that have warranties, that have the modern systems that aren't going to break down as often. Especially operators. Operators running, pinball places around the world have had a lot of rock bands and superheroes and movies and cars and things like that in pinball. An operator might be totally into the idea of putting this vintage-looking game out on route to try and just mix things up. I could see operator jumping on it. By all accounts, operators have been buying Whoa Nelly, Big Juicy Melons, because it's different. Whoa Nelly was expensive. Now, a lot of people argued, well, it had those funny reels, it had this little tiny DMD. That stuff didn't cost that much money. It had this crazy cabinet. Yeah, that probably added something to it. I don't know how much of a cost it was for Stern to build a game that another, quote, company, Greg and Dennis, designed. They had to make money on this, right? They were licensing their game to Stern Pinball on some deal. Either they licensed it or they sold the rights or something. Some money was probably changing hands here. I don't know if it was a flat fee, a per game fee, whatever. So there's some cost in there, right? But there's going to be some cost even though they own, the rights to Stargazer or Sea Witch. There's still going to be costs in converting it to a modern day game. If it's me, I do it in the regular cabinet, in the new modern Stern Pro cabinet. I try and save money there. I don't, I know the purists are going to say, yeah, it's not the right cabinet. Yeah, get over it. I think get over it. If you really if you're the purist, go buy the old one. Get over it. Maybe lose the silver trim, like on my Metallica Pro here. Don't do a back glass. Maybe do some limited run add-on back glasses that you can upgrade. Sell a $300 or $200 back glass. Do a translate. I think translates are fine. But, try and cut the money out of stuff like that and get this game. If you could get this game to 5 retail so that, distributors are going to probably sell them to the public. 'Cause we know there's usually some deals in there. Distributors are going to sell these closer to 4 than 5. I think you'll sell them. Do you sell 500 of them? I don't know about that. But do you sell 250 of them? Do you start a thing where you release one of these games every year and you start getting collectors who want to collect them all? I mean, you could get something going there. So I love the idea. I won't pretend to know all the answers here on how to do it. I'm sure that they've spent many, many, many hours at Stern talking about this and have thought of all the ideas that me or anyone in the Pinside thread have thought of. And if they do it, I'm sure it'll have a pretty well thought out plan. Because if nothing else today, I don't care if you're a Stern hater and you're just anti-Stern for whatever reason, which is silly if you are. But if you are, if nothing else, you got to say that they have their business together. They're running a good business right now. So I actually think, and here I'm going to give somebody a business plan. Just cut me in on it when you do it. Just call me up. I'll be your marketing guy. No, I won't. I don't want to do marketing. I'll be your sales guy. No, I don't want to do that either. I'll just take 5%. I'll be an advisor. Hire me as an advisor. What somebody needs to do, and I pitched this to Josh Sharp last night, and he wasn't having it. But what somebody needs to do is they need to build a game that's sort of quasi Pinball 2000, where you're swapping playfields out, and they need to license classic Bally solid state, early solid state or late EM games. That's what they need to do. They need to go back and look at those, really classic Bally pinball machines from the late 70s, early 80s that are fairly simple layouts. Bally Williams games. I mean, even think about this. What if you took, build a cabinet and get firepower in it, right? So you build your cabinet and you ship it with firepower. Very basic layout, but what a fun game, right? And you ship this thing for, I don't know, $5,000. Because I think a company could build firepower that could be sold for $5,000. So you ship your new game with firepower. And it just unplugs out of your cool little, I don't know computers. So your little Raspberry Pi, P-Rock, Ben Heck, Wizmo, Spike, thingamabob computer thing in the back that can run these different games. You just unplug it. You develop some really cool interface where it just plugs in, plugs out. And then you can sell new games, new playfield kits for $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter what the numbers are. Numbers go up all the time. But think about how many people would make that investment for $5,000 or $6,000 to end up having this firepower game that you could pull firepower out. And it's got to be quick. It's got to be easy. You get whatever you do, it's got to be an easy swap. And I could slide in Alien Poker, for instance. I could just slide in the Alien Poker game, swap out my Translite, and off to the races I go. I have Alien Poker. Or I pull out my Alien Poker and I go grab Gorgar, and I slide Gorgar in. How cool would that be? To have some of these vintage great games built on modern technology with, a clear-coated, nice playfield that I could just interchange, have a rack somewhere with 3 or 4 games. I mean, you wouldn't take a ton of them. Black Knight, obviously that one has a lot more parts, but I don't know. I'm just brainstorming. I think somebody could do this, and I think it could be successful. I don't know. Thoughts? Would you buy that? Would you pay $6,000 for the head unit, the cabinet, and the guts, the brains, and then $2,500 for additional brand new shiny games? I would. I actually would. So, and you know what? There's a guy in England building games, real pinball machines, based on the same idea, right? Highway Pinball, Full Throttle. You buy Full Throttle, you can buy the playfield kit for Alien and slide it in. So, Andrew Highway, here, do this too. License these games and build these. And I don't know. Who am I? Right? Andrew Highway is going to do it with new games. I think somebody should do it with classic games. That's what I've been thinking about. It all started off of the classic Sterns reproduced, again, off of the Sterns Facebook page, off of the Pinside thread. Donate to Pinside, donate to kids, whatever. That's what I'm thinking about in Forum Static tonight.
Call the people.
I would like to welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball tonight Mr. Patrick Wall and Mr. Shannon DeWitt, who are organizers, I guess sort of founders even, if you will, of the Southern Fried Game Room Expo taking place June 19th through the 21st in Atlanta, Georgia. How are you, gentlemen? What's going on?
We're doing fantastic, Nate. Good to be here. Thanks for having us on the show.
That's Patrick. Patrick has a podcast, of course. He's co-host of the Game Room Junkies. Great podcast. Check it out. Shannon, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Shannon, have you and I met?
We did. I actually introduced you last year at SFGE.
That's right. You look familiar. I just couldn't place where we'd met. Well, good. Well, First of all, thank you guys very much for the invite to come back and be a part of the festivities again this year. It's definitely a high point on my calendar, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, and we're putting you to work this year. So
you are putting me to work.
You.
I'm waiting for the check that seems to never come, but that's okay. I get to spend time with Ben Heck. That must be the payment, I'm sure.
Yep.
So Southern Fried Gamer Expo, we're in year number 2 for you guys. I think a lot of people are amazed at the effort and work that you guys put into year 1 and how kind of smoothly things went at least from our point of view as attendees. What's year 2 been like so far?
Well, we did. We got a lot of great feedback of how smooth that went, and it was a lot of man-hours putting that all together. And there's a lot of things this year that are easy because we've done it before, but I don't think putting a show together like this can ever be easy. There's always new stuff and exciting problems to deal with. And, of course, the closer we get to the show, the more questions, emails, concerns, tickets that all start flying at you at the same time. But it's good problems to have.
What are each of your sort of responsibilities? I know that Preston, he exclusively just handles Billy Mitchell and Billy Mitchell's transportation and hair. I've got right. That. So what are you two guys doing sort of in these days leading up to the event?
Well, I'll go first. This is Patrick, and I am focused on the sessions and the speakers and running the speaker rooms. So all the panels and all of that stuff. And that is, other than building some ramps to get the games up on the curbs, that is pretty much consuming my time.
And I'm dealing with all of our vendors. We have even more vendors than we've had in the past, which is exciting. Upkeeping the website and social media going, along with Preston and everybody else's help with that. I work directly with the hotel. We've taken over the entire hotel. We filled up our room block way early this year, so really exciting stuff. A lot of calls from them. And lately, it's getting all the badges ready. So a lot of great things going on.
I've been to a lot of shows. You guys really put on a well-run show. At no point did I feel lost or think, oh, man, these guys, this is a mess. It was really good.
Well, get ready for this year. We're using every room. No, it'll be great. It'll be great.
I know. Shannon sort of understates the complexity of the registration process and everything that goes on with that pre-registration and registration there at the desk. And so he has really, really put a lot of thought into how that whole thing should work because, there's incentives for games, there's vendors, there's all sorts of things you have to keep up with. And, it's just a big process to manage. And that all went really smoothly last year thanks to everything he put together.
So last year in year 1, I'm sure I was there. I saw the attendance. The attendance seemed really, really good. What has been the pre-registration numbers looking like for you guys? Is it looking stronger? Are we going to have a bigger event this year?
Yeah, we're going to have a bigger event. We're fairly certain of it. So, like I said, the hotel alone was a big indicator of what we expect to see. Our early reg numbers are bigger, and definitely more media have been reaching out to us, and groups. We've been posted as some of the top things to do in Atlanta this summer, one of the top 7 cons for Atlanta this summer, top 6. And so a lot of good media is actually showing us off, which is exciting.
$50 for a 3-day pass is not bad at all, and it's $30 for kids. And one thing we were talking about before we came on the air is how this is a great show for pinball. It's a great show for arcade games. It's a great show for speakers. But really, it's a very family friendly. I know family friendly gets thrown out all the time, but this show really is family friendly and does have stuff that your kids will be interested in as far as at an expo.
Yeah, and that was by design. We started off with that intention, and it's on Father's Day weekend, so that even really more drives home that point about family friendly. And we try and have events for the kids, and try and have pricing for the kids, and we really want whole families to come out and have a great time. And we think there's a lot of sort of interest in people our age, dads our age, who want to sort of share the magic and nostalgia of the arcades with their with their kids.
you guys mentioned that there's going to be a Medieval Madness tournament, but it's a kids tournament playing the Medieval Madness remake. Tell me how that's going to go down and what sort of cool side things are going on with that.
So we're bringing to our main stage in our ballroom one of the remake Medieval Madness machines. We're running the tournament for kids age 12 and under. It's a friendly tournament, much like our Star Wars tournament for kids were last year. And just like last year where we had all these Star Wars characters, this year around the Medieval Madness tournament, we'll be having knights in shining armors and damsels in distress and squires running around for some photo ops with the kids and the families. And it seemed to be a big hit last year and made it a lot to social media. And luckily we have friends that are cosplayers, and you're in Atlanta, the home of cosplay. So it's kind of exciting to...
Atlanta's the home of cosplay, really?
Well, we're the home of... we're the number one nerd city in America, I think is what they refer to us now.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's okay. We'll take it.
Take what you can get. So I know also you have a Papa sanctioned... I believe... Is Papa running your main pinball tournament?
Yes. Yeah, they are. It's run by a representative of Papa.
One of the reps from Papa. Who is that? I know this. I just can't.
Brian Broyles.
That's
is
right,
our
Brian.
Papa tournament runner. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So that's kind of your typical multi-day Papa qualifying tournament with the finals on Sunday. What other events? Because I know you guys are not just pinball, as much as it pains me to admit this. Talk to me about the arcade. I know there's some other great tournaments, there's some other great games, and all sorts of activities to go on other than just playing all the cool stuff on free play.
Absolutely. So I'm sorry, Shannon. I didn't mean to interrupt. Absolutely. One of the things that just overarching, and Shannon can fill in details here, but overarching, our thought was we're big Dragon Conners, and one of the things about Dragon Con is that there's many different types of things to do all the time at Dragon Con. And although we don't have the space that Dragon Con does, and obviously we're not that big, we have tried our best to do that. So we've tried to fill all hours of the day and night because we realize that people who come and stay for the weekend, they just can't stand and play games all day long for 3 days. And so we have a variety of sessions during the day, and also at night, there's people staying in the hotel, and at night we have some really fun sort of nightlife. We have an 80s band that's going to be playing in the main ballroom one night. We have a late night rock band where people just come in, and we have a huge rock band set up in one of the speaker rooms, and people just come in and jam, and it's a very karaoke, celebratory atmosphere. And one of the things, this is something that we just added, was we had a block of open time on Saturday morning between 8 and 10. So the ballroom opens at 10 for the games, and I think the first panel session's at 10:30 on Saturday morning. And our co-planner, partner Preston Burt, he said, "Hey, we need to do something during this time. Let's just run some classic old, Saturday morning cartoons that we all grew up on." And so that's what we're going to do for 2 hours. And if there's people who get up that early, and if they want to get up and watch cartoons and have their breakfast, they can. We're just going to let them run for 2 hours.
Nice. So Lucky Charms and Scooby-Doo, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly the same feel.
That's very cool. Talk to me about Mr. Billy Mitchell and what Billy will be up to this year.
Well, I will say Billy was a big hit last year. Everyone loved Billy. He was entertaining. Preston loves to follow him around, so we got to bring him back, and that's exactly what we did. And he's excited to come back. He's adjusted his schedule and said, "I will be there." And so because of that, last year we had an event called Battle Billy Mitchell. And it was fun. You got to play Pac-Man against Billy. Well, this year we've expanded that. So we've partnered with a local entertainment group called Stars and Strikes. They're like the local go play video games, swap your card kind of place. They're expanding in Atlanta. They've been a great partner with us. They're actually bringing in the Pac-Man Battle Royale, the 4-player huge stand-up Pac-Man machine. So 3 at a time will get to go head-to-head against Billy. And the cool additional part of that's just developed in the last couple of days is Sony Pictures will be bringing in swag from the Pixels movie, and we'll be giving away some of that during that hour-long session with Billy on Saturday while you're competing against him. So that's a great event for the family and for people to come and see Billy and get some time to play against him.
Are you going to set the Pac-Man Battle Royale game on 3-ball or 5-ball play?
I think we were confused here, but something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody beat Billy Mitchell last year?
Patrick, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I'm just going to go with the legend and say no, that's not possible. So,
right.
yeah.
So, Nate, did you get a chance to talk with Billy last year?
Oh, do you remember him crashing the podcasting?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I got to. What did I told him he reminded me of the wrestler Ric Flair, which he was very confused by. I have a great selfie I took of me with him in the background, and people couldn't understand that don't know what I do with pinball stuff why I was sitting at a table with Billy Mitchell. It's pretty great. He's a character, that's for sure.
And I tell you what, he is a fantastic guest to have there. He's a consummate professional and just loves walking around and interacting with people at the show.
Oh, super nice guy. Like, really, really nice guy. So this year, I am going to be helping you guys out by moderating a couple different panels, and I know that the first one I'll be moderating will be Friday night. Friday night at 8:30, I will have Mr. Ben Heck up on stage. We're going to be talking about America's Most Haunted Pinball, Spooky Pinball, and by that time, the second release from Spooky Pinball will be announced, and we'll probably get into that a little bit. Is Ben doing more than one session, I believe? Is that right?
He is. He's on Saturday too, I'm sure.
Yeah, he is. He has another session that's less focused on his pinball exploits and more on his gizmos and gadgets and his modding.
Oh, very
it's called
cool.
Ben Heck Mods the World.
Very cool. Also, some really cool different smaller build games or just different design games coming. I know that Wonelli will be there with Dennis Nordman and Greg Ferris will be there. That's pretty exciting. Also, P3, the P3 platform game with Lexi Lightspeed Multimorphic. I will be hosting Jerry Stellenberg there for that. That's exciting. I also know, and I didn't realize this until tonight when I was going through the schedule, you guys have a Stern Pinball Kiss launch party going on, right?
Yep, we do, and that is going to be, part of the Papa tournament. So I think there's an extra fee. Is that correct, Shannon? Did we lose Shannon?
We lost Shannon, I think.
Okay.
Or Shannon muted himself. I think Shannon muted himself.
I'm here. I'm so sorry.
Shannon, you can't fall asleep on my show.
I am not.
It's bad for business.
So yeah, we're talking about the KISS launch party, Shannon, and there's an extra fee we think with that, but it should be really interesting to have that as part of the show. And we were delighted that they chose to do that.
It's going to be a lot of people's first chance playing KISS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're all starting to arrive, I believe, for some of the locations. The launch party sheet is going out for all the different places that'll be having them, and we're early on that, so that's really exciting. It is an additional fee. It is in the Papa Pinball Tournament room, so yeah.
Where are all the games coming from? How are all the games getting into the free play rooms?
So there's only a small fraction that we own that we can get there ourselves. We are blessed with an Atlanta community that has embraced the show and wanted to bring out their own machines, either because they're interested in selling them to buy something bigger and better, or because they're very proud of what they have done. We always give awards for Best in Show for Pin and Best in Show Arcade for those machines that stand out in those arenas. We actually have a lot of people that are bringing massive amounts of games. People bringing 10 games. We actually cut game off a couple of weeks ago. The hotel can't hold any more than what we're bringing in. So that's an exciting problem to have. What's
your number? What are you going to call it at? How many pinball and arcade games will be there?
If you count everything, pinball, arcade, and console, we're well over 200. So I don't have the breakdown in front of me. I know last year people said we'd love to see a couple more arcades, and I can honestly say we'll have just as many pins as last year, if not more, and we'll definitely added some more arcades along this year as well.
Fantastic. What else? What else can we hit on? What am I missing? Tell me. Sell the people who are on the fence.
I've got one great event that I can't not mention. We're very excited this year to do a live game show right in the middle of SFGE. So on Saturday, we're having a show called Level Up, the game show. And basically, we'll be taking 8 contestants that are willing to stick themselves on stage and go head-to-head with trivia about pinball machines, arcade machines, consoles, and not only trivia, they'll move from trivia directly to playing some games right there on site in front of everybody with cameras running around, pictures being snapped, crowd applause, and in the end, everybody goes home a winner. So we have consolation prizes. We have great people like Criminal Records here in Atlanta that'll be giving away some gift certificates. It's going to be a very exciting event. And if you're coming to the show, you can try to get one of those contestant spots now. You can check out our Facebook and our Twitter. The links are on there. Twitter, we're SF Game Room Expo. And, of course, Facebook, you can just search for Southern Fried Game Room Expo. Fill out the form, and maybe you can battle against somebody else in our Level Up game show.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I think that's a really fun event.
That sounds cool. So the hotel, the special room rate is gone, right? Can't get the special SFG room rate.
Gone.
Is
way gone.
So where are people staying now? Is there other hotels in the area, I'm assuming?
There are other hotels near. I've heard the hotel still has some rooms at their higher rate, which I believe I heard was 140, 139, something along that.
It's a nice hotel. It's a great.
It is a very nice hotel.
It's a Marriott. It's nice to be right there where the action's taking place, and being able to go take a nap is nice at times too. I'm really looking forward to this show. It's the first show in a while for me. I can't wait. I think you guys have got a really good thing on your hands here that I hope is active for years to come. Again, thank you for inviting me. I look forward to seeing you both there. And thanks for coming on Coast to Coast Pinball. Chat about it a little bit.
Hey, thank you, Nate, and we look forward to seeing you in Atlanta. Safe travels to you, and we will see you in, 7 days or so?
Yes, I can actually tell you. Let's get this right. 7 days, 19 hours, 50 minutes, and 33 seconds.
You're on it. Or you're looking at our webpage.
I'm looking at your webpage.
All right. Yeah. That's okay.
Okay.
Thanks again, Nate. We really appreciate it. We hope it's going to be what we all want it to be and what the community wants it to be.
Absolutely. So. Patrick Wall, Shannon DeWitt, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun with Patrick and Shannon. Shannon apparently thinks it's okay to fall asleep on the show. We'll see about that, Shannon. I'll fall asleep in your seminar next week. No, I'm just kidding. The Atlanta show, honestly, if you just said by geography, Atlanta to me was probably going to be like a one and done. Like, hey, I'm going to go to the inaugural Southern Fried Gamer Expo. It's sort of out of the way for me. It's not really anywhere I go normally in my work trips or my personal life. But I had such a good time there last year, and that show was so well put together. The tournament was run as good as any tournament at any big show I have ever seen. And, I mean, Patrick and Preston Gamer Junkies are great. Joel and Dana Reeves are, like, both just sweethearts. And then, Shannon falls asleep on my show. So how could I not go back? Right? So when the date was announced months and months and months ago, I already sort of had pinged it on my calendar. It's like, you know what? If that works out, I absolutely want to go. When I saw I could go, I emailed Preston and said, dude, anything you need, I will gladly help out with. So I'm glad to be taking part. I'm hosting, like I said in the interview there, I'm hosting forums or speeches or talks, whatever you want to call it, with Jerry from Multimorphic and with Ben from Ben Heck's Crazy Mind of his. And then also I'll be taking part in night 2 of Podcasting After Dark on Saturday night. Late night podcasting. So will be lots of fun coming out of that. And I'm playing in the tournament, which is right now kind of what's been on my mind. I can't wait. Looking forward to that very much. So glad to have those guys on. I think it's time that we see what's going on with Mr. Bowen Cairns. How about you?
Bowen's Cheat Sheet.
All right, today Bowen and I are going to talk a little bit about strategies for Johnny Mnemonic, a game that seems to pop up quite often in tournaments. I know the spinner is often talked about on Johnny Mnemonic. What's your take on a way to play this and get a nice score somewhat safely?
Yeah, Johnny is a game that really didn't get much love when it first came out, and it's emerged as a really interesting competitive game. It's got this just super shot flow to it. But a couple of main strategies are that if you can get that spinner up to 10 million a spin by shooting first the left ramp and then any shot on the right-hand side, either the right ramp or the right loop. And that gives you what's called throwing spikes. The third throwing spike gives you the 10 million spinners. And then the fourth throwing spike is a multi-ball. So what I like to do in playing the game is I'm not going to just go for spinners once I get that third one. I want to go and get the fourth one because I can start a quick multi-ball. And then I've got 2 balls in play to whale on spinner instead of 1. And I'm much more guaranteed of a long ball that will have a very high spinner value. You get in jail if you screw that up. Like if you light the spinner and then you drain, you can't get the spinner award again. You have to go through the entire sequence of awards before you can get back around to getting spinner again. And the player can lose the game on ball one by screwing that up and draining, putting themselves in jail.
What do you do if you find yourself in that position? What's your best, worst scenario there?
If you're qualifying, it's mainly start over. If you are, if you're not, then you want to concentrate on modes and multi-ball. When you lock your first ball into the weird glove thing, it lights up the grid, the 3x3 grid in the upper right, with all of the different awards that are capable. And you think it's just telling you like what the list of awards is. It's not. It's actually telling you where all the awards are. So when it lights up and it says each spot in the matrix is worth one of these awards, it's lighting all 9 shots and lighting up what it's going to be in that very initial boop, 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 boop things. You have to pay very close attention to that. And you'll see where the hold bonus is, where the award bonus is, where the bonus X is, where 100 million is, where the gigabytes is, where the video mode is. I forget what the other awards are, but they're not bad awards.
What are you choosing first there?
If I'm in a spinner game and I'm doing well with the spinner game, the critical one is hold bonus because it allows you to carry over your spinner points for 2 or even 3 balls, effectively doubling, tripling, or even more. If I've blown out the spinner or the spinner's not working because of a mod on the game, then I'm concentrating on video mode. I'm concentrating on not gigabytes, but Light Crazy Bob's, which is 200 million award. And I'm also trying to get three locks that are in a row, because if you get a tic-tac-toe when you lock all 3 balls, the jackpots are tripled. The usual way to do that is to shoot all 3 of the top lanes as your jackpots, and then you're just feeding top lanes, and any top lane is jackpot. But the jackpots can be 150 million or so per jackpot. All of that is pity points compared to what the spinner can get you, but if the spinner is nerfed or if the spinner is out of play for you, that's where the rest of the points are.
Oh, I lied to you about the mailbag. There's no time for mailbag. I'm sorry. I have so many good emails. We'll get to them. They're there. I'm actually going to reply to some of them. That's a novel thought. I'm going to reply to some of these emails. I'm trying to get better at that. I used to be so good. Thank you for listening. If you would like to email me and possibly get a reply and possibly get your email read here on the show, you can email me at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. It's COAST, the number 2, COST, you get it. It's the number 2, right? Not TO in the email address. At gmail.com. Email me anytime you like. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. I haven't said that in a while. And, argue about the shows in the Pinside thread. And that's all we want in the world, right? A little bit of discussion. Anyway, I do appreciate your support and you listening to the show. We'll talk to you again real soon. Take care of yourselves.